Shinobi, open your eyes. For the sake of your master.
Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello and welcome back to Everything Possible in Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. Last time we traveled back in time yet again to the Hirata Estates and we took out Owl Father, the one who stabbed us in the back, quite literally back in that fated temple. But today we're going to be traveling at long last to one of the most impressive and beautifully designed areas that From Software has ever created, and that is the Fountainhead Palace. But before we do that, we do have some preparation to do. So we're here in the dilapidated temple, and I have a number of upgrades that I want to get. Now, some of them are really just to get further upgrades eventually, but one of them is going to prove incredibly useful with the boss fight that we're going to be encountering here very, very shortly. So first, I'm going to need some money. And I will go ahead and just use both of my bulging coin purses. Why not, to make sure I have enough?
This temple has too many visitors lately.
I'm only just noticing that on the temple, or the shrine right in front of him, it looks to be blood. And I don't know why blood would be shed on that. It looks very much like the shrine back by Hanbei in the training area back there, but if you have any pointers onto why there might be blood there, let me know. I'm honestly truly not sure, and I've never seen anyone discuss it. But we are going to be upgrading the purple fume spark. Now this is an incredible firecracker. Now the firecracker is already borderline broken, but this time there's a slight tweak to it, and it is risk versus reward, as a lot of the best things are. But when enemies are blinded by this firecracker, they take slightly more vitality and posture damage for a brief period of time. So if you can keep something stun locked using the purple fume spark, you can take them out very, very quickly. The risk is it doesn't go off right away. It's not like the firecrackers where when you throw them off they explode. There is a brief delay, so you need to plan for that delay. Otherwise you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. So we're going to be picking that up. We're also going to be getting Okinaga's flame vent. This is only possible because of the pine resin ember that we got in Mibu Village. We'll grab that. And then lastly, the golden vortex. We're not going to play around with this today, but I am going to be showing some really cool uses of this in this playthrough, because you can get some money very, very quickly. Now, eventually money becomes kind of a moot point because you have so much and you don't have anything to spend it on other than maybe stacking up some divine blessings. But let's grab this. This will open up some more impressive options later on. You can see we are almost, well, we are 50% of the way to unlocking at least the last 4 updates, which are all lazulite tools, which is very, very cool indeed. So in order to get this one, you can see how these paths kind of diverge. To get the lazulite shuriken, we still need the great feather Mistraven, and to get the lazulite sacred flame, we need the Suzaku's lotus umbrella, and that will give us the lazulite sacred flame, or at least the ability to upgrade to it.
Hey, don't be afraid to go all out.
Do love the sculptor, who apparently doesn't like visitors. Now, we're going to be heading up to Lord Kuro. We haven't talked to him in quite some time, so let's travel to the important place, the upper tower, Kuro's room, and we have to talk to him several times in order to advance the plot and open up Fountainhead Palace. It's going to be 4 for us currently. Although, if you really are trying to get all of the secret dialogue, head over here and just listen on in, because he has something that he wants to say here.
He's so strong. I wish I was.
And you know, it's almost sad. It's not almost, it is sad that he says it, because obviously this child, and he is a child, is incredibly strong to be going through what he's going through with, honestly, very little complaining.
Wolf.
I am relieved to see that you are safe.
And Owl?
I killed him,
I am sorry.
Lord Kuro.
I am sorry.
I did what had to be done.
Wolf, thank you.
My father, this was in his possession.
This branch. It's from the Everblossom tree? I see. So Owl had it.
Yes, we are a step closer to the Fountainhead incense.
Yes. Yes, that's right, Wolf. How was the rice ball?
It was delicious.
I bet it was. Ever since I was little, I've enjoyed making sweets.
I used to always sneak into the kitchen back at the Hirata estate. Maybe one day I'll open up a tea house, if I ever have the time.
My lord, I have procured the ingredients for the aroma.
Oh, so that is the stone for the Fountainhead incense? What a peculiar shape it is.
Yes. It had been made into some sort of shrine.
So it was just as Lord Takeru wrote.
Yes. There was also an inscription, a sweetly scented bridal offering, written on the altar.
Bridal? What sort of place was this?
It was in a cave, beyond a door made of solid rock.
In that case, where was the wedding procession headed? No way to know, I guess.
Sweetly scented. Lord Kuro. That place might be the gateway to the divine realm.
I see. Sweetly scented. Meaning wrapped in the Fountainhead incense. That is what it might be referring to. Wolf, we've finally done it. Once we make the Fountainhead incense, you can infuse your clothes with the aroma. Now, place all of the ingredients in the incense burner.
As you wish. My lord.
Wolf, the mortal blade. Fear not. I will only make a shallow cut. Would you draw the mortal blade from its sheath?
Yes, my lord.
Forgive me, but close your eyes.
Yes, my lord.
It's over now, Wolf.
How is the wound?
I'm fine. I just made a small cut on my chest. So this is the Fountainhead incense. It's so extraordinarily nostalgic.
I see.
Well, do you notice anything different?
The aroma and Fountainhead Palace. Those words have been burned into my mind.
Fountainhead Palace. It's just as Lord Takeru wrote. That place must lead to the divine realm. But how can the Fountainhead Palace be reached?
A sweetly scented bridal offering. That was written on the altar where the fragrant stone was placed.
Yes. You now carry the aroma of the Fountainhead incense. I believe the path leading to the Fountainhead Palace will open before you if you go to the shrine within the cave. Immortality shall soon be severed. I'm counting on you, Wolf.
As you wish.
And those are all the steps we need in order to get the Fountainhead incense, which will allow us access to Fountainhead Palace and ultimately the Divine Realm. Now, talked about a sweetly scented offering to be whisked away kind of through a bridal procession. Now, I'm going to be talking about some of the lore or at least theories behind that. I will not claim that any of these are mine own, but I do love Smotown's videos. If you haven't watched him, he is a much lesser known lore video creator to someone, say, VatiVidya, but he has some really great original interpretations, and I'll be sharing a couple of his ideas, and I'll be linking his video down below. I've talked about him in previous walkthroughs, but he really does have some very creative theories going on. Now, before we head to Fountainhead, I do want to go back to the Inner Sanctum. Once we have unlocked the Fountainhead Palace by getting the incense, we can go back to the Inner Sanctum, and the Divine Child of Rejuvenation has opened her doors again, and we can talk to her to get an item that we need for yet another ending. So the doors are now open, and just to recap, remember, we did have to feed her both the dried and the fresh serpent viscera, also known as persimmons, to her, in order to advance her quest line. Now that she's opened her doors, let's talk yet again.
Oh, Shinobi of the Divine Air? Are you there?
Your eyes.
You have returned, Shinobi of the Divine Air. It appears I have succeeded in becoming the cradle. Could you please take my hand?
Yes. What?
It is cold, much like an ice house, which is why, see? My tears. They freeze as they flow down my face. These frozen tears. Take them.
And we get the frozen tears, tears that were shed by the divine child of rejuvenation once she becomes the cradle. They are but frozen drops. By having Kuro drink both the dragon tears and frozen tears, the cradling ritual can be performed. Cold dragon tears are just that. Now, you don't have to get these now. You can get these anytime before the ending, but as long as you have these in your possession when you end the game, you will have the option to give the frozen tears along with the dragon tears to complete the return, also known as the Dragon's Homecoming end.
Frozen tears. Does this mean...
Yes, I believe this is what the text referred to as cold dragon tears. The divine heir must drink them together with the dragon tears of the divine realm. If he does so, I believe Lord Kuro will be able to rest within the cradle.
Now, not only can we get the frozen tears, but because she's become the cradle, we can request rice and get something else in return.
Shinobi of the divine heir, what would you ask of me?
What is it?
Hold out your hand.
All right.
Bless us with a silvery harvest.
It's cold.
With my body so cold, the rice shines with an icy gleam.
It's like fine snow.
That is true. Then that is what we shall call it. Shinobi of the divine heir, this fine snow is yours.
Going forward, if you request rice, instead you're going to get fine snow, chilled silvery rice that's spilled from the palms of the child of rejuvenation. Gradually restores vitality for a time, slightly more so than regular rice. The beauty is you can carry fine snow and rice if you still have some rice in your possession, which gives some incredible health restoration over time buffs. The cold sweetens the rice. Rice is indeed precious. The flavor grows richer and richer, raising one's spirits higher than ever.
Accept.
Rice is precious. Please return should you want for more. Shinobi of the divine heir, I look forward to the time we next meet.
We are now ready to head to Fountainhead Palace, and in doing so, we are going to be traveling to the Ashina Depths, to the Wedding Cave door, right behind where we fought the illusionary corrupted monk. We're just going to head straight back to where we found the shelter stone and where we saw the palanquin shining in the light. Now pay attention to the roof because you can see this 4 5-stranded rope dangling just overhead. We're going to be talking about this rope here in a moment as we get whisked away. And we have this very large rope person. And we don't know much about him. There's nothing in the game that speaks about him. However, Smotown, as referenced previously, he had some thoughts. Now, he had referenced some dolls that were placed on the coffins during burials that were made of twisted strands of rope to make it look like people. And that was supposed to help to bless those that have passed on and to keep them from corruption. Similarly, Shiminawa that had been placed on torii gates were also meant to defend against corruption, and they marked the gateway between earthly and divine. So it is possible that this rope individual is a hybrid between a Shiminawa and one of those dolls, and in essence, it is defending against corruption in the divine realm, or it is separating the earthly realm from the divine realm that's just beyond Fountainhead Palace. Again, I'll link that video in the description and in a pinned comment because it was a really fascinating watch, and he had more to say about that, and we'll get to that at the end of the video. From here, you can see the one shiny, but we're just going to travel the lengths of rope You can see that idol that we can commune with right there. And just beyond, we do have a boss encounter. So we are going to prepare here in just a moment. So run down here, grab these ever important pellets. Head up top, double jump over his finger, he said questioningly. Commune with the idol, and we are now in Fountainhead Palace. So the next boss that we're going to be fighting is the true corrupted monk, the true monk. He's going to, or excuse me, she is going to be jumping up over that rooftop. I referred to the illusionary version as a male several times, and I apologize. It is indeed a female or a woman. It is indeed feminine. Now, there used to be a very, very quick death blow that involved running in. Sometimes you could do it with stealth if you weren't confident, and zipping up into the trees, zipping over to that tree, and then over to that one, and you could get a free death blow. That seemingly has been patched out. I have seen some discussion and tried it myself. I cannot get the initial death blow to occur. But what I am going to show is a very, very quick kill, and then I'm going to show the full fight using the purple fume spark, which also does make it somewhat trivial, but I like to show the easy ways if people are struggling, and then just the full ways if you want to really just practice and learn how to enjoy the fight in its fullest. So for the easy kill, and by easy I still take some practice here, but I am going to be using Yashiriko Sugar, which also means you do kind of have to do this perfectly, and I will be combining that with the Divine Confetti. If you don't remember, Yashiriko Sugar does cut your health to a very, very low margin, but it gives you 50% increased damage to both vitality and posture, and then we're going to be using just the Shinobi Firecracker. So it's going to be Firecracker, couple hits, Firecracker, rinse and repeat. As long as you don't do more than 2 hits, you should be fine. You can get away 3, sometimes even 4, but there is absolutely always a risk involved there. So let's do Sugar, run up a little bit, don't get too close, and Firecracker. You can see that damage just piling up so fast. And unfortunately, we did run out of our spirit emblems. That's alright, we're just going to do some deflection. Do a little Goomba Stomp, there's death blow number 1. And then we will zip on up to this tree. Wait for the monk to appear, and there's a death blow. And we're already in phase 3. And at this point, we can simply Ceremonial Tanto, heal up, and we can't really use Yashiriko's again at this time, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and zip. And then you can just rinse and repeat. I'm not going to show this entire phase because we're going to be doing this in the real fight, but that is the relatively easy strat for the Corrupted Monk. And now on to the more difficult strategy where I'm not dead. For this strategy, I am again going to be using Firecrackers, but I will be using... Nope, went the wrong way, I always do. I'm going to be using the Purple Fume Spark. It still only uses 2 Spirit Emblems, but again, we have to account for the delay. I do not need to use Ceremonial Tanto. If I really want to make this go faster in the first phase, or even the second phase, if you're not going to do the Stealth Death Blow, Mortal Draw works phenomenally, especially if you have the Midair Prosthetic skill where you can jump and use Mortal Draw because it just stuns almost every single time. Now, I am going to be using some Akos, and I will be using some Divine Confetti as well, just to make it go a little bit faster, but still keep it, relatively lengthy. And I say lengthy just because I want to show off all the moves. So I'm going to start with my Ceremonial Tanto. I'm going to pop a couple of pellets there, leaving my big healing. Now, I didn't show this off, but I am going to show what happens if you rush in too close. So I'm not going to use my sugar yet. And if you try to get right up there, you get knocked back, but you don't get any damage taken, which is very nice. And I want my Divine Confetti, and let's get in and start talking about some of the moves. She's going to charge, and she's going to hit me for a lot of damage, so I'm going to heal up. Bad deflection there. She has several opportunities to do a thrust attack, usually after one of these big combos. I'm timing this so poorly. She does have some differences in her cadence, so be wary of that. And if she runs back just charge right again. There's... Oh, missed that deflection. Goomba Stomp, hit a couple times on the way down, and then charge her. Goomba Stomp, hit her once rather. And here's the Makiri, perfect. We're not using the purple fume until later, third phase. Okay, there's death blow number 1. Now we are going to be going into the trees, but this time it's for a different reason. We're going to go in there because she is summoning some spirit monks, and those spirit monks are after us. Now, you're not safe standing still, so really just act like a monkey. And just keep zipping, because they can even hit you in the midair. Oh, which almost just happened. But at some point, they're going to disappear, and we can start the next phase again, which is the same phase, or same as phase 1 for the most part. So we're just going to do some deflections. Delayed deflection there. You can also dodge to her left, which definitely gives you a better opportunity to attack, charge up. We're not even using a buff right now. Deflect. If she does that jump, you can go for the deflection, or you can just try and dodge through it. Makiri counter. She's probably going to disappear again soon. Maybe we can finish her. There it is. Excellent. She will continuously disappear and summon those monstrosities if you aren't careful. So we are going to buff again Akko's Divine Confetti, and we're going to talk about just a few other moves that she has here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she was up against the fence. For that one, you really don't want to deflect it. You want to dodge to her left outright. Otherwise, you're going to take just a ton of posture damage. There is the new Perilous attack, and that is when she's going to summon Terror. So make sure that you either dodge around her, or if you have the Lilac Umbrella, you can absolutely dodge right through it. And now it's time to start using our Firecrackers, because we haven't. So, there's the delay. Let's just get 3. It's always really, really good after that Perilous attack. Perfect. Let it go and just start attacking. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and dodge. Let's give us some space. Let's back up. We could buff if we really wanted to. There's no need. And this will probably do it. And there it is, the true monk. Make sure you get that Shinobi Death Blow at the end. I absolutely love the purple Fume Spark for that fight. It just takes her down so quickly. So Immortality Severed, we of course get a new memory. The true monk. The corrupted monk guarded the bridge leading to the Fountainhead Palace. So it seems like they had the rope, or the Shimenawa rope doll, guarding the Fountainhead Palace, as well as the true monk you'd have to overcome. But we also get the Dragon's Tally Board, carved from a large piece of jade. Possessing this increases the stocks that can be purchased in merchant shops. Such a tally board is highly prized by the merchant class. Old custom dictates that those of dragon rank are recognized as supreme merchants by the Imperial Palace and should be given the best possible treatment. Just holding this in our inventory will actually increase the merchant's inventory throughout the game. So anywhere where you find a merchant, you will now have access to eel liver, divine confetti, snapseed, scrap iron, and black gunpowder sold infinitely. That's right, divine confetti can now be bought infinitely, which is great. Now we can only still hold 5, but still, really, really good way to spend your money. We now have lots of skills in our possession. We are still making our way towards getting our Shadow Rush, so we're going to spend 3 of them on mid-air combat arts. This is really fun because this means if we jump over something, we can then come slamming down with something like our Sparking Axe, which can do a lot of damage. But we need 4 more skill points to get Shadow Rush, which will then open up the Spiral Cloud Passage, which, as you can see in that image, is just absolutely fantastic. So we are going to increase our attack power. The corrupted monk was among the infested, standing over the Fountainhead Palace. Indeed, immortality would seem a fitting quality for eternal watcher of the palace. Her true name is Priestess Yao. Attack power is now at a whopping 11. Let's rest up, make sure we get all of our things back. And we're going to be traveling down to Fountainhead Palace. Before we head down, we do need some tools in our inventory. Now, we're not going to be using the purple fume spark anymore, at least for this episode. But let's reset here. So I am not going to keep pellets on here any longer. I am going to be using only one prosthetic tool, at least for now, the piercing Sabimaro. If you remember, when we picked up Sabimaro, it talked about how it was really, really effective against Okami. Well, it just so happens this place is full of Okami warriors, so this is going to take them down so quickly, but it is going to take some spirit emblems, so we are going to use a ceremonial Tanto, and you know what? I'm going to put the pellets back on. I'm not even sure why I didn't. We're also going to be using some ceramic shards because sometimes we're going to have to pull enemies because there are times when it is just so dangerous to rush in there, and I'm going to be using some Gachin Spirit Fall because it just wouldn't be complete if I didn't sneak a little bit. So we're just going to zip on down. There's no fall damage in this section. Of course, if you, fall down the waterfall there is, you'll just die. But you can hop down here with no fear. And, actually, I want to show off one thing before we use Gachin's Spirit Fall, and that is one use that I found for the Hidden Tooth. It's not a great use. Let's grab these Spirit Emblems. You can always skip those and come back if you're running low. But we have a new enemy type. I'm going to jump up here, and we're just going to look inside at the Palace Nobles. These Palace Nobles die very, very quickly. The problem is they have a new debuff called Enfeeblement. They will actually draw out your spirit, your energy, your youthfulness, and they will in turn cause you to become enfeebled. What that does, it reduces your health to almost nothing, and it reduces your movement. Almost to a crawl. You actually walk around using your sword as kind of a crutch, and you can't resurrect. So it leaves you wide open. So I'm going to show off a couple of things with this enfeeblement. The first being the Hidden Tooth. Now, the Hidden Tooth, this is not a great strategy. It's kind of interesting, though, because if the meter is building up, one of the things that you can do is use the Hidden Tooth, or you could use Bite Down, which is the consumable version, and you can basically die, and they will forget about you. So let's get this guy's attention. He's going to start enfeebling us, but when it's about half, we're just going to die. He's going to go about his merry way because he thinks he did his job. Of course, I probably should have waited a little bit. Let's get over to the side, heal up. And I have used this to some effect. Now, the other thing, though, is we need to make sure that we kill them very quickly. If you are able to get a death blow on one of these Palace Nobles and then get a death blow, you actually cause the enfeeblement to go away. You actually steal your energy back, and I do want to attempt to show that in this next room, so I'm gonna have to be careful. But there is some Mibu Balloons of Soul. Of course, getting the Mibu Balloons here makes complete sense because they are supposed to be filled with the Fountainhead waters. So in this room, we have a Palace Noble there, and we have one behind these folded screens. What I want to try and do, and this is not going to be perfect, I'm going to try and get this guy to enfeeble us, and then we're going to get over here as quickly as possible, and we're going to try and get a death blow. I may die, and if so, we'll just reset this area, and that's fine, but let's give it a go. Excuse me. Go ahead and enfeeble me. I'm going to start sneaking over. Come on. Oh. Never mind. That did not work. Let me quit out and we'll try it again, just because it is kind of interesting. Alright. Now this could be tough because quitting out doesn't restore that folding screen, but let's see. And nope. Oh, we got one. We got one. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. All right, was that worth it? No. The only other time I've ever gotten that to work is when I've actually gotten a stealth death blow, but I guess that works too. Now, you can get some really great materials. Lump of fat wax, you can get grave wax, we're going to get adamantite scrap. This is not a bad farming place for where we are in the game. There's definitely better later on, but more on that once we get there. All right, so from here, we're going to head outside. Now, there is an enemy up there. There's a mini-boss we're not going to get to till next episode. He loves when you go for a swim. And by that, I mean he loves to electrocute you when you go for a swim. So I'm going to definitely get some health back here. I want to go get that item. You can wait to kill him and then come back and loot anything that's in the water, but I'm not really one to backtrack. So instead, we're just going to go as quickly as we can. Run over here. Grab this adamantite scrap, and we want to ideally do that jump I just did, which is you don't land in the water, you land on the land. You may get electrocuted. You can use an eel liver if you wish, but I want to run and jump right there. That's my best kind of chance of making this. Of course, that was terrible. Get out of the water. Let's try this again. Line it up, and run, 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 run. It could still be coming. It is. Get behind the pillars. Oh, that was close. Probably not worth it, but again, I just don't like backtracking. And that's actually true in real life. Fun fact, if I get lost somewhere, I would much rather just find my own way than to backtrack and go the way that the map or GPS originally told me to. So now we're heading up to the front. There is a Litecoin purse on this stump here. And now we can see some Okami warriors. Now, I'm going to be stealth killing as many of these as I can because that's just my MO, but it's also the easiest way to go about it. But also, if we get caught, then we will use the piercing Sabimaru to kill them very quickly. So there's 2 patrolling, sword-wielding Okami down here, and there's going to be several archers up here. Now, we don't have to worry about him on the bridge. He can't see us. But if we go 1 layer higher, which we may have to zip out to do. I think there's actually one. Yeah, there is one here. Good. So let's take a look. Let's get the lay of the land. There is 2 archers right there, or there are 2 archers right there, and there's a 3rd down here. We should be able to get the stealth kill on him, no problem. What's really cool is that these are just the same species, if you will, as the Palace Nobles. They're just wearing armor. All right, before he is too aware of us, let's get that kill. Really good XP. Now, looking over here, let's not get too close. You can typically actually get this further one with the stealth death blow without the other one becoming aware, but just in case, let's get piercing ready. Make sure we're getting all this wonderful loot. Some scrap magnetite. Still something very useful. Excellent. And now we're going to drop down because there is another archer. So I'm going to drop right here and grab. Let's get this archer from behind. Now, down below, like I said, there are 2 wandering Okami warriors, but there's also a Palace Noble in the building that we don't want to aggro. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a death blow from above on this one, and then we'll charge in with piercing Sabimaru on this. There it is. Nicely done. Only used a couple of spirit emblems. That is fantastic. And actually, while I'm here, I might as well use my ceremonial tanto and heal up just so we have those spirit emblems at our disposal. So you can see the noble right in there. If you use a shuriken with chasing slice, that can close the ground really quickly. But instead, just sprint and start attacking right away, and you should be absolutely fine. Got a Mibu Balloon of Wealth. Now we're going to go around front and get the kill on that individual we saw on the bridge. Typically, you can get a stealth blow on here, but if he turns and sees you again, you have the Sabimaru at your disposal. Stay right. Oh, there we go. Jiminy crickets. All right. There's the death blow. Got some lump of grave wax. Great. Now, we do want to get some ceramic shards that are up here on this roof, and there's going to be... Oh, you know what? I forgot to actually equip are my shurikens. There are a number of dogs, and these dogs are way more dangerous than any dog that we have faced so far. And this is where the mid-air prosthetic actually comes in handy as well, is being able to jump and fire your shuriken at these dogs. That way you can get some that are kind of hidden by cover. So for here, what we're going to do is just start taking them out one by one. Goodness gracious, that was a horrible miss. More of them in the building that we can't target just yet. You can stay above them using these trees. Let's see if we can get any more from this rooftop. Not quite. There are some over by that tree. You can skip them and just go around here and swim through the water, but it's extremely dangerous because of what we've already talked about. Now you can see a palace noble in there, so you don't want to just rush in. There's also some Okami warriors up top. You can see them right there, but as long as we are crafty. Also, this one is balancing only on his feet and left knee, which is very impressive, quite skillful. Here's some dogs here, but before we kill the dogs, let's go up and take care of at least one of these Okamis without them seeing us. And then we have the Sabimaro for the other. You can see just how quickly that takes him out. It's very, very impressive. And just to get our full uses out of it, I will use our Ceremonial Tanto, because we are going to be using our tools a lot in this episode. Nice easy kills. No dogs coming to take a look. But if we go up on the roof, we can get some of the other ones as well. You can see them kind of phasing in right there. Oop. And there's even more yet. So the difference between these dogs, and I don't think I actually mentioned, I just said they're more dangerous, they shoot lightning. And they shoot lightning a lot, and it does an incredible amount of damage. So it's much better just to fight them very cheesily. Let the other ones come and investigate. There we go. Courtyard is relatively safe. So we can hop down here, do some looting. Got a heavy coin purse and some ungo sugar. And then from here, what I like to do, because I don't want to get him to see us yet, but if you just jump and use a shuriken, you can then hide. That dog's going to go investigate. Kill him. And stealth death blow, easy to say, on the Palace Noble. Oh, forgot one dog. There's some adamantite scrap. Make sure we jump out here. Take a look at the shiny these dogs were guarding. Get some eel liver, fitting for these creatures. We also get some Yashiriko sugar, and this area should now be completely clear, and we have ourselves another idol that we can commune with. And I probably won't be resting just yet, even though we have used some of our gourds. Instead, we're just going to push right on. So now we're at Mibu Manor. There's going to be a Palace Noble coming up very quickly, right around this corner right here. He is patrolling, so if we just wait a little bit, we don't have to get out right in the open. In fact, if you really want to do one of these, because it's just fun to do.
Excuse me, young man.
And now we have an NPC. We're going to actually meet her sister and her father in Fountainhead Palace, but she's going to give us a very important warning about the area just ahead.
Young man, please be careful. The palace nobles have a craving for the vitality of youth. They can't help themselves. They want nothing but to sap away more and more of it.
I see.
The courtyard ahead in particular. It is accursed. It's crawling with palace nobles. If you must forge ahead, you'd best go around it.
And she is not wrong. This courtyard is just crawling. You can see 1, 2, 3 palace nobles all looking this way, and then inside there, another palace noble and 2 Okami warrior elite. It's very dangerous to go that way, so we certainly want to be going a different way for sure. Now, I'm not going to be using Bite Down anymore. I'm going to be getting my Ganshin's Spirit Fall because we're going to be doing some sneaking, and I'm actually going to be switching out Pistol for Blood Smoke because I forgot there is one usage for Pistol here that's going to make this a lot more tolerable. So we get some Bite Down, which I think is the game's way of telling us that this is a way that you can prevent enfeeblement, is actually by killing yourself temporarily. So this is where I got my idea. Now we have a Palace Noble there, and we also have one right there. When that one turns around, which he will, we're going to sprint over to the other one right over here. Kill him. Get right out in the courtyard. You can see something is aware of us. Let's grab this Akko Sugar. We have already quickly lost their attention, but they are behind that wall, so we do want to be careful. Because you can see there's an Okami warrior. I do want to kill this Palace Noble first. Now we're going to just jump around here. This guy's going to start to stand up, but we can absolutely get the death blow. And then get behind this wall so he can't enfeeble us. Yeah, he draws in your energy through his flute. Pretty messed up. I'd like him to stop now. Just behind him, we have some yellow gunpowder. And behind the Okami warrior, whoa. Never noticed a snarling before. That's pretty interesting. So we get some more eel liver, letting us know that this place can be very dangerous. Now, from here, this is where we have to start making some decisions. Also, there was a spirit emblem actually over here by this tree. Let's grab that and then zip on over. There's going to be 2 Okami warriors and a palace noble that are patrolling. But if you wait here, you can go up into the roofs here. What I'd like to do is actually wait for this entourage to go by. They're going to go over to that hallway. We can get the Okami warrior in the back, use Blood Smoke, and then we can at least stealth death blow the other Okami and then just take out the palace noble. And of course, piercing Sabimaro when all else fails. Make sure that they turn, both of them. There we go. And Blood Smoke. And somehow the Palace Noble wasn't even aware that I just killed their guards, so let's get the kill and just walk away, let him die. Oh, he didn't die. Interesting. Thought he would die with a single hit. He must have just a fraction of health left. But there is another Palace Noble in there. We'll get to him in just a second. So speaking of I said rooftops, I meant ceiling. If you go up here, you can use this to get around that entourage. I'm going to use it just to get a death blow from above on this Palace Noble. Right here. Here we have a lump of grave wax again. We're still not going to be tackling this courtyard, so we're just going to be backing up. You can see something else is conceptually aware of us. That is okay. So down here we have some divine confetti. Through here, that snarling that we heard, you can't see it, but it's actually the Sakura bull. It's another bull that we have to fight, just like we fought the blazing bull, but this time instead of their horns or their rope or their tree branches that they have in their horns, let's grab this divine confetti, they have magic imbued, which means that we can't simply block with anything that blocks fire. We need something that blocks magic, like divine confetti or the lilac umbrella. Excuse me, no, the lilac umbrella does not block magic, it blocks terror. Right, so from here, we can't skip that courtyard entirely. You don't need to go over there, but there's definitely some loot worth having. You can see we have one of the Okami elites, a Palace Noble, and another Palace Noble down there. But if you just go around here, you should be fine. We're going to go underwater. And then just swim, surface. Do a double jump to get out of here. Grab 3 treasure carp scales. 1, 2, and 3. And then we have a chest. And we get the water of the palace, a cup filled with divine waters, a drink popular with nobles of the palace. When a wedding procession arrives at the Fountainhead Palace, this is the drink they are greeted with. The nectar of the palace nobles. Go ahead, drink to your heart's content. If you remember, we had an NPC in the Mibu village who wanted to drink of the water of the palace, and we can bring that to him, and indeed we will. And that's going to spur a little bit more conversation of the lore of Fountainhead Palace. But let's go back the way we came. And this is where we are going to take care of the palace nobles in the courtyard. We gotta lose that person's sight. That was a little bit close for my liking. So we're gonna use Gachin Spiritfall here. There are, again, 3 of them in the courtyard, 1 more in the building. My order of operations is typically kill this one on the bridge, and that furthest one on the bridge, and then loop around because the palace noble is going to start to come out and investigate. So let's do a Spiritfall here. And let's begin. And you do have to kind of work with this one because he does patrol on the bridge a little bit. I'm not sure who saw me. That's a problem. Let's just back up. Actually, looks like we might be okay. So this one is coming to look for me. Not too concerned about him because the Okami elite haven't seen me. Just let him come to us. Right, so now the courtyard is clear. That's a room with the NPC who told us to watch out for this place, and she was absolutely right. Let's grab these pellets, and again, we do have these 2 Okami elites that we need to deal with. They are dangerous. You can still take them out fairly easily with the piercing Sabimaru, but they are not to be underestimated by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to be using, again, Blood Smoke. So I'm going to be using my Gachin Spiritfall. Let's get over here. Let's get behind this one that's standing. And Blood Smoke. There we have it. He's blind. There we go. They are both dead. Get the loot from them. Grab some adamantite scrap. And don't forget this chest. We get some more divine grass, which is great. So only a few more enemies in the way here. That one looks to be alive, but he is very much dead. Do not worry about him. Now this is where it gets a little cheap. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to get this guy's attention with a ceramic shard. And then I'm going to back up pretty far. And we're just going to play the waiting game. I do not want to fight. Oh, did he already lose attention? He did. All right, let's do that again. And I'll even give him 2. Why not? Because we don't want to fight him with the elite. That can be very dangerous. He is just not too interested in me. Well, things just got interesting, but that's okay because we can just take him out with piercing Sabimaru. And we ran out of spirit emblems, so if I can get far enough away, that is a-okay. Use our ceremonial tanto. And there we have it. There's the death blow. And that is what you do when things don't go according to plan. You adapt and you improvise. That's all right. We don't need to use our tools very much more. So we are just going to now sprint and take out that one palace noble. Kill him. Get out of the way of the second. He's going to try to come to us. And other than some enemies on the roof and one more around here, we have now cleared out that entire building, which is just chock full of enemies. Now, I'm sitting here, but I'm not going to rest just yet. There are some more enemies, like I said, up on the rooftops. We'll be dealing with them in just a little bit. But first, around this pagoda, we have some divine confetti. And I'm going to zip on up. You can see the Okami warriors kind of perched around. We can get stealth death blows on all of them. But for here, we don't even have to be sneaky because we can just go around here. There is one enemy we want to kill who is right here. We can just get a jumping death blow on him. There we have it. And let's just run around the water here back to the idol. And I am going to zip on up here. And because we killed him, we are now relatively safe to loot an item that is just over on the other side of that rooftop. Here's the thing. In order to get back, we are going to have to jump in the water and swim to the point we just killed that enemy, which is right there. That's a pretty far swim. But if he's in your way, there's no way you're going to make it because you're going to become enfeebled. Now, it's just an adamantite scrap, so it's completely up to you if it is worth getting. So for now, I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to pick this up. He is not really going to do anything until we enter the water. So I'm going to get a sprint, jump, and then I'm going to mash the dash button to swim as quickly as I can. Sometimes you make it and sometimes you don't. Quickly, quickly. And get behind. Oh, goodness gracious, that was a close one. But we got it. Absolutely worth it, right? Definitely no harm in doing that. Now, let's go topside because we're going to take care of a mini-boss in two different ways. The super easy, possibly even bugged out way, and then the legitimate way, and that is the Sakura Bowl. So if you want to do this the cheesy way, all you need is a pair of spirit emblems and the shinobi firecrackers. We have 4 currently, and that's all we need. Looks like the fish are trying to get at me. And all we want to do is hug the left side of all these roofs. We don't even have to kill any of the Okami. And then I'll kind of walk us through the rest of it. Like I said, we're going to be doing this 2 different ways. So from here, again, don't worry about the Okami warriors. We're going to be taking them out when we go for the more legitimate kill. And actually, you don't even have to stealth. These guys are completely oblivious to what we're doing here. Even that one who's kind of facing us. But what we want to do, and I'm going to have to walk us through this verbally before I do it. The bull is just on the other side of that roof right there. We're going to drop down, get up to his left side, and as soon as he starts to turn, we're going to throw a firecracker, hit him 1 time, and he's going to do the rest for us. So just get up to his left side. He's starting to turn. We firecracker, hit him once, and he's so enraged, well, that he does the dirty work for us, allowing us to get the immediate death blow. Prayer Bead and Beast Karma, we'll take a look at those in full when we do this here in just a moment, but thank you speedrunners for discovering that trick. It works incredibly well. If you're struggling to get it, again, make sure that you're doing it on his left side as soon as he starts to turn. If he's not running into the wall, try and hit him a couple times with your sword right after he rears up, or even throw a shuriken. I've heard that that can work really well too. Now, that's the easy way. Let's fight him a little bit more legitimately. Now again, we absolutely could rest, and for all intents and purposes, we probably should. But we actually don't need most of this anymore. We're not going to use any more. Well, we've used our ceremonial tanto anyway. We don't need this. I shouldn't need pellets. Theoretically, I'm going to leave the shinobi firecracker. Actually, I'm going to use once again, the purple fume spark. I'll only be able to use that 2 times. And then in terms of what else are we going to use, it is, of course, going to be Akko's sugar. We are going to be using Divine Confetti. More than just damage, though. This will allow us to perfectly deflect his attacks and take no damage. You can deflect his attacks without this, but you're still going to take some considerable damage along the way. And if you're worried about damage kind of chipping through your deflections, you can use something like your Fine Snow or your Rice in order to boost that up. But let us start getting some kills on these Okami warriors before we go in for the kill with him. So we'll start with this one. And the problem is these guys can interrupt your battle with the bull if you're not careful, because they can kind of see down into that courtyard. And if you want to get the stealth kill on all these, you do kind of need to do it in a certain way, because if you kill him, this archer right here will become aware of you. So kill the one closest to you, loop around to the one furthest. You can hear the beast is now kind of going about his merry way. Head over to this third and final Okami. Now, at this, the bull becomes enraged. Not enraged, but aware of you. If the bull is not aware of you, you can do a death blow from the rooftops. Here's the problem. It doesn't kill him. This is the only boss. Actually, he's already lost interest in us, so we could probably try it again, and maybe I can show it off. I don't know of any other boss or mini-boss that has a death blow that you can land perfectly and still not get the instant kill. All right, let's try this. Here it is. And look, we only got about a third of his health, which is a bit of a problem. So let's run. I'm going to buff up. Wait for him to get a charge. I missed the deflection there. Let's do a purple fume spark. And time to get out of there. Let's see if we can bait another charge. Time this right this time. There it is. Purple fume. And then we're just going to hug him on the back as much as we can. And it looks like we totally missed that. That's unfortunate. Oh, he did not miss that though. Let's heal up. Getting him up against the wall like this is really unfortunate placement. All right, we are out of spirit emblems. That's all right. Let's just play this safe. And safe is not being in a corner like this. Run away. Heal up. We're going to have to rebuff on our Divine Confetti here. So you can see that chip damage is just so high. Good hit. He is doing the circle thing, and I hate when he does this. There's a good stun. Back up. See if we can bait another one. A nice charge attack after the stun works really well. Time to run. He is going a little bit nutso. Heal up. All right, run away. And there it is. Oh, just kidding. Don't get caught in his final charge. There we go. Oh, bull. I much prefer the easier way. Not a flawless fight by any stretch, but that is the soccer bull. We get a prayer bead, and we also get a beast karma. This will give us yet another spirit emblem in our arsenal. Perhaps this innocent beast was burdened with the karma of man, inheriting the karma of those they've killed as also part of being shinobi, which is great. We are also up to 4 skill points, only 2 more to get Shadow Rush. We have Adamantite Scrap, Bulging Coin Purse, and Yashiriko Sugar. And let's just run this very long run back to the idol. Grab ourselves a couple of pellets, and now we are done with this area, but we're not quite done with the episode yet because we want to go back and give this water to the person in Amiibo Village. Fast way to do that is travel back to the wedding door and backtrack from there. From here, just turn around, and we're just going to run back to the first building. Ignore all the enemies. They do not matter to us. Go ahead and use this rotating door. And let's give him what he's asked for.
The cup has run dry, but this won't do. It's too dilute. Refuses to dissolve completely. Unfit to be citizens of the palace. Oh, waters of the palace, fill our cups once more. Fill them to the brim. To the brim.
Notice that he is wearing what looks to be a small shiminawa around his neck, along with some of those paper charms that we've seen in other places, especially on the torii gates. And this is where we need to discuss Smowtown yet again, because I just love his interpretation. When we give him the water of the palace, you're going to see a transformation take place when we reload the area. That transformation could be what is necessary in order to gain access to the Fountainhead Palace. And by burning the Fountainhead incense, we may have tricked that rope doll into carrying us, thinking that we were a palace noble or of some sort of palace nobility, by masking our scent with the incense. Because possibly this water is what purifies, and this form that he's about to take is considered to be purification in and of itself. Again, Smowtown, really, really great lore theory.
Oh, please.
Hello. Take this.
Oh, this fragrance. Such an esteemed aroma. Finally, we may be accepted. We may serve as their humble servants. At last, at long last, you. Let me give you this.
We get Dragon Spring sake. Very nice. Really top shelf sake.
In that case, you will surrender it to me.
I'm going to use my idol to head back to the wedding door idol and run back here. I'll cut that out and we'll see what has become of this individual now that he's consumed water of the palace. You can hear a familiar flute sound. And that's because he is now one of the palace nobles. He does attack. He can hurt you. It's not much he can do, but he can hit you for some considerable damage. But now that he has become this, and because he's after us and hostile, we're going to have to do the only thing we know how. And we get 5 treasure carp scales from him. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is part 1 of Fountainhead Palace. It is a very large area, very beautiful, and I can't wait to share the next part with you. Nope, looks like I missed a spirit emblem. But while I grab that, if I missed something, please do let me know down in the comment what I've missed, or if you have a better strategy for either the True Monk or the Sakura build, please put that down there as well so we can all keep learning. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.